Japan has always been one of the most popular tourist destinations in the world. Its rich culture, technological innovations, beautiful landscapes, and culinary delights make it an amazing place to visit. But in 2025, Japan has rolled out some major changes to its entry and travel systems that could affect your trip in ways you might not expect. If you're planning to fly to Japan soon, it's absolutely essential to know about these new rules before you go. In this video, we're going to break down the 5 most important changes that you absolutely need to understand before your flight. We interviewed several travelers who've recently been to Japan, and we also tested these new systems ourselves. The changes are big, and unfortunately, many travelers are showing up completely unprepared. We've heard reports of travelers being denied boarding due to not having the right documentation or not knowing how to navigate the new systems. That's why we're here today, to make sure you don't end up in that situation. Let's dive in. Pre-clearance system. What you need to know. One of the biggest changes is Japan's introduction of a pre-clearance system. This means that travelers can now complete their immigration procedures before even boarding their flights. This new system allows you to complete all your entry requirements in advance, saving you time and potentially avoiding long waits when you arrive in Japan. Here's how it works. First, travelers must register on the Visit Japan web portal at least 72 hours before their flight. The system asks for details like your passport information, flight details, and accommodation plans. It also requires you to upload a clear photo that meets their specific requirements. Once completed, you'll receive a QR code that you'll need to save because it's critical for fast processing once you arrive at Japan's immigration. However, here's the catch. Right now, only travelers from Taiwan are eligible to use the pre-clearance system. Japan plans to expand this to more countries throughout 2025, so if you're not eligible yet, you'll still need to register and get the QR code, but the processing won't be as fast as it could be. We recommend checking your eligibility before your flight and registering on the portal anyway to streamline your entry process as much as possible. Electronic Travel Authorization, ETA. What you need to apply for. Alongside the pre-clearance system, Japan has introduced a new Electronic Travel Authorization, ETA, much like the US ESTA system. This new rule applies to 71 visa-exempt countries, including the US, UK, Australia, and most European countries. If you're traveling from one of these countries, you must apply for an ETA before boarding your flight to Japan. To apply for the ETA, you need to visit Japan's official government portal. The application costs about $10 and must be submitted at least 72 hours before departure. Once approved, you'll receive an email confirming your authorization, which you should keep handy as you may need to show it at the airport or when you land in Japan. Unlike the pre-clearance system, the ETA is completely separate and must be applied for individually. Even if you complete the Visit Japan web registration, you will still need to apply for the ETA if you're from one of the eligible countries. Make sure you apply early and save all your application details. Shinkansen changes. How to avoid getting stuck without a seat. Japan's famous Shinkansen bullet train system is another area that's undergone significant changes. As of 2025, non-reserved seating on the Tokyo-Osaka route has been cut back by 85 seats per train. During busy periods like Golden Week, late April, early May, summer holidays, August, and New Year's, late December, early January, non-reserved seating is completely eliminated. This means that if you're planning to ride the Shinkansen during these peak periods, you'll need to book your tickets in advance to guarantee a seat. If you don't, you could find yourself unable to board the train, even if you're willing to stand. This can be a huge inconvenience, especially for tourists who have not planned ahead. Fortunately, there are ways to save money on your Shinkansen tickets. Book tickets 28 days in advance through the SmartEX app and you could save up to 4,000 yen on a round trip from Tokyo to Osaka. This can help make your trip more affordable. Additionally, Japan's Welcome Suica app is now a must-have for international travelers. The app allows you to link your Shinkansen tickets directly to Apple Pay or Google Pay, and it's valid for up to 180 days, which is a huge improvement over previous options. You can set it up before you arrive and use it for all your transportation needs once you're in Japan. Tax refund process overhaul. What's changed and how it affects you. If you're planning to do any shopping while in Japan, the tax refund process has also undergone some major changes. Starting in November 2026, the tax refund process will be completely overhauled. Under the new system, you'll pay the full price including tax at the point of purchase. To qualify for a refund, you must keep all your receipts for eligible purchases. The refund process now takes place at the airport before departure. One of the most significant changes is that there is now no minimum spending requirement for tax-free purchases and no maximum refund limit. This means you can claim tax refunds for smaller purchases that wouldn't have qualified under the old system. However, with the new system comes a new requirement. You'll need to arrive at least 90 minutes earlier than usual to process your tax refund at the airport. Make sure you have all your receipts organized by purchase date and that you have your passport ready for processing. Best and worst times to visit Japan. How to avoid crowds. Tourism in Japan has exploded in recent years, and with this surge comes the challenge of over-tourism. Certain times of year are becoming increasingly crowded and expensive, and it's important to know when to visit to avoid these issues. There are a few times you should avoid if you want to avoid massive crowds. Late March, when the Japanese fiscal year transitions, late April to early May, Golden Week, June to early July, rainy season, August, extreme heat and summer vacation, late September, Silver Week, late December to early January, New Year holidays. During these periods, not only will you face large crowds, but prices for transportation and accommodation will also skyrocket. Additionally, the Shinkansen imposes special fees and eliminates non-reserved seating during peak times, so your travel experience could become even more challenging. The best times to visit Japan are early April, when cherry blossoms are in full bloom but without the crowds of Golden Week. Mid to late May, when you can enjoy pleasant weather after Golden Week. October to November, when the weather is comfortable and you can experience the beautiful autumn foliage. If you must travel during busy periods, there are strategies you can use to avoid the crowds. Consider visiting Hokkaido during the rainy season or Okinawa in late June, early July, when its rainy season ends earlier. You can also visit tourist spots early in the morning or later in the evening when most tour groups have left. What you need to do before your trip. Let's quickly recap the most important changes and steps you need to take before heading to Japan. Check if you're eligible for pre-clearance and complete Visit Japan web registration 72 hours before departure. Apply for Electronic Travel Authorization, ETA, if you're from one of the eligible countries. Book Shinkansen tickets in advance, especially during busy periods. Download and set up the Welcome Suica app before arriving in Japan. Plan your visit during less crowded periods to avoid the biggest crowds. Arrive 90 minutes earlier at the airport for tax refund processing. With these steps in mind, your Japan trip in 2025 will be smoother, more efficient, and most importantly, stress-free. Traveling to Japan in 2025 is an entirely new experience, one that rewards preparation more than ever before. From the game-changing pre-clearance system and mandatory electronic travel authorization to the revamped Shinkansen rules and updated tax refund process, every stage of your trip now requires advanced planning. But don't let that discourage you. With the right steps, registering on the Visit Japan web, applying for your ETA, booking your train tickets early, and setting up key apps like Welcome Suica, you can save time, money, and a lot of stress. Avoiding peak travel seasons and knowing when and where to go will also help you enjoy Japan's beauty without battling the crowds. We created this video to make sure your dream trip doesn't turn into a nightmare at the airport or train station. So be proactive, double-check your documents, and give yourself the breathing room to enjoy Japan the way it's meant to be experienced. Now we want to hear from you. Have you already traveled to Japan under these new rules? Was your experience smooth, or did you run into surprises? Drop your story in the comments. And if this video helped you out, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more expert travel tips.